What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the next video in this DaVinci Resolve tutorial. Today we're going to actually be getting into a field trip with social media. Okay, so I feel like this one is very much a useful one and a critical one. In fact, it was actually requested by a couple of people, so I figured I would go ahead and just knock this one out and show you guys a few things with social media. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the software. So first off, when it comes to social media content, you're going to need to do a few things. You're going to need to first create a new timeline. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just right click in the space here. You guys can right click in here anywhere in between a clip, not on a clip, but in between one. We're going to go to timelines, and then we're going to go ahead and create new. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to hit use project settings. We're going to hit uncheck on that. We're going to change the name to social media stuff. Then we're going to go over to format. Okay. Now this is where things get really interesting with social media. Obviously, we're right now editing in 4K, but when it comes to social media, basically the resolution is actually can be the same, but with social media, instead of it being a long landscape view, now everything is tilted sideways now, and you have everything rotated. So it's the same resolution, it's just your height and your width are different. They're inverted now because you rotated it. Okay, so now when we get back into the software, you guys will see that we're going to just click on use vertical resolution, and that's going to automatically flip everything like I mentioned, by making it taller and also making it more narrower so it's more for a cell phone. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just go ahead and hit create. Okay, and of course you can always do 1080 if you're doing like TikTok. I think you can't do 4K in TikTok, so you can always just change that resolution down to HD. So if you can wonder what I'm talking about, you can go ahead and hit right here and right click on the tab right here and hit find in media pool. We'll go ahead and open up this timeline, hit on timeline settings, go over here to format actually, and then we're going to click on this drop down, and you can just simply hit the 1080 one right here. Okay, so we're going to hit cancel there. And let's go ahead and bring in some footage. So first off, let's go ahead and bring in some of the, let's bring in mailbox. We don't need audio, so I'm just going to click on alt and hold alt and then click on the audio portion, and that's how you can select just the audio piece of a video clip. Just hold alt and click on it, and you'll do that because otherwise these two will be linked together and you'll get both of these. But if you click on alt, you can actually isolate and click one, and you can just hit backspace on the keyboard, so you're just getting visual. Okay, so go ahead and stack these for a second, and then let's go ahead and grab this lighting post here. Again, we're going to just get rid of the audio, and now we have just our video clip. And then I'm going to trim everything by moving my playhead here and deselecting by clicking out here in the empty space. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hit W on the keyboard. If you're wondering what I just did there, I definitely have a video number 2 where I explain some of those keyboard shortcuts. Okay, now that we have some video clips here, I want to show you guys what you can do for social media. So let's go and click on this first one. And right now, as you guys can see, this clip was not fully intended for social media, but you can see that now it is already geared towards social media. Okay, so you can obviously stabilize your clip, do whatever you want, and now it probably is more stable now, and voila, you have your social media version. Okay, we can go ahead and disable that by hitting Control D, by hitting just D on the keyboard, and you can click on this one. Same thing. Probably wasn't intended for social media, obviously, because I filmed it in a certain way, but as you can see, it fits. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and hit just hit D again, and let's take a look at our mailbox. And here's our mailbox. Okay, you're probably wondering, well, is there a way to actually make this footage not be cropped? Or maybe you've seen like a blurry image behind the clip and then it fills it up, but then you see like your full landscape. So if you guys are wondering how to do that, that is the number 2 way I'm going to show you guys how you can actually do social media stuff. So let's go ahead and clear these off for a second. Let's just work on our mailbox one. What we're going to do is click alt on the keyboard and hold it, and then click on your clip right here and click it and then drag it up, and now that made a duplicate, and you have 2 of those clips. Okay, and what I like to do, just so you're not confused, is I like to take the bottom one and I like to right click on it, and I'm going to go to clip color. Then I'm going to change this to like blue or something like that. You can just change the color to whatever, just so you know the difference when you get into your color tab. Now let's jump over to our color tab, and then we're going to go and go to our green one. And what we're going to do is we're going to just click on the blur here. Okay, And then we're just going to take the radius up a little bit, which is right here. And now you can see I upped the radius. Then we're going to go down here to the edit portion. Again, back to our edit page. And we're going to click on the top one. And now we're going to change the retime scaling mode here. Okay, our scaling right over here. We're going to change this to fit. Now you'll see that this actually fits. And if I play this now, watch what will happen. So you get your full resolution, and now you're not cropping your image, but it is still filling up the whole screen here of a cell phone. This box here is like your cell phone screen. Okay, so that is a number 2 way on how you can make social media videos. Now, the third thing about social media that I want to show you guys is how you can actually track something. So let's say, for example, let's remove this and let's go over to maybe wheel test is actually a pretty good example. This one is probably a really good example actually. So let's go ahead and drag this in, hit Alt on the keyboard, delete that out. I'm gonna hit Q to trim this out. Q. All right, so here we are. So I am actually quite centered on here, so this is actually really good. Oh, your code is okay. So you can see that I came out of the frame here a little bit, right? So if you click on your clip, you can actually go over here to the right hand side, and there's this thing called smart reframing. I think you do need to have the studio version to be able to use this, and then do object of interest. So we can start back here. It'll automatically, let's just do auto, and let's click on reframe. Okay, now what that's going to do is try to figure out what's of interest and stay on that subject throughout your clip. So let's see if it works. And it actually creates keyframes is what it does. So it actually shifts your clip around and moves it because you have a lot of it cropped out now, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and hit play. Looking pretty good. And before I came out of the frame here, but as you guys can see now, I am staying quite on the frame for social media. So it did a pretty good job, to say the least. I am still on the screen here, and it has really got me locked on, and it is really moving. So as you can see, it is totally locked on to me, and it is not losing me. So that is pretty good, I would say, to say the least. So that is one thing that you can do for social media as well if you have a landscape and you want to make use of your frame. All right, let's talk about another last thing with social media, and I think this one's going to really be the bread and butter, which is going to be the fourth piece of social media. So let's say, for example, you did have, let's actually undo that, and let's say we did have this clip, and let's go ahead and trim it out a little bit, and let's take this. All right, so we're going to trim here, boom. So let's say that's one clip, and now you want to get another clip, right? Let's say we go ahead and we take our lens clip, right? Cool, get rid of this. Let's go ahead and trim this out, right? And let's take our biking clip. Okay, boom, select this. So now we got 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's say, for example, you wanted to render all of these social media clips. Like you got this one, that's a social media clip. You got this one, that's your social media clip. Then you got this one, that's your social media clip. All right, now let's say you wanted to render all of those and, you know, export all of those out at once. Okay, I haven't really gotten a lot into the render tab, but I'm just going to show you guys an introduction to it with this social media course. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the deliver. Okay, then what we're going to do is just call this whatever you want. So social tests, give it a file name, select where we want it. I'm going to click on actually this PC. We're going to go over to downloads. Boom. There we have it. I'm going to change the codec to H.264. Okay, that is important. Again, for social media, we want to just change everything to 1080. Let's just downsample it down just to make sure we're getting a file that works for TikTok as well. And then instead of doing export a single clip, all of this as one, you know, major clip here, okay, I want to do them as individual clips. Okay, now watch what will happen. So if I go ahead and hit add to render queue here, it's going to render actually 3 individual clips in this location, and then you get 3 videos in one pop. Now you're probably wondering, well, that's really cool. Is there any other use case for that? Well, yes. In fact, that is actually how a lot of people will make social media shorts or short form content. They'll make like a long form content and then they'll chop it down into like 1 minute increments. So if you wanted to do that, let me give you guys an example of something like that. So let's go ahead and clear out of this. Let's clear that render piece. Let's go back to our editing tab down here. Let's start with a new timeline, and let me just grab a big old video. Let's go to video here, and let's go to my beginning introduction video, and let's bring this over to here. Okay, so now we have this long video. As you guys can see, it goes far longer. Let me mute it so we don't hear myself twice. You guys can see it is quite long. I just hold Alt on the keyboard and scroll down so we can zoom out a little bit. So at 36 seconds, 46 seconds, you can see that right here at 58 seconds. And then let's go ahead and scroll this. Now we're past 1 minute. So what I like to do is go to the 58-second mark, okay? And then what you can do is actually add an adjustment clip here, okay? So let's drag this onto here. Now you can see our adjustment clip is too short. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just zoom in by holding Control on the keyboard, or actually holding Alt on the keyboard and scrolling up on the mouse wheel. And then what we're going to do is drag this over to that 58-second mark, okay? And then what we're going to do is hold Alt on the keyboard and select this, okay, the adjustment clip, and just drag it and drop it over, drag it and drop it over, drag it and drop it over. So we're just duplicating these 58-second increments, so on and so forth, till you cover your full video, okay? And then obviously this one you don't need, but those are your different pieces. So you have 1 section, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos that you're going to be getting out of this. Then what you need to do is move your playhead to here and then just create a slice. Boom, 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 boom. All right, pretty cool, right? So, and if you're wondering how I was able to jump, so let me go ahead and undo some of these. So if you're wondering how I was able to jump, I just used the down arrow on the keyboard and it will jump to the next slice in the video track. So as you can see, it is jumping and you can cycle through all of these, okay? So all you gotta do is hit down arrow, slice, down arrow, slice, down arrow, slice, down arrow, slice, boom, boom, boom. Pretty cool, right? Now, all you gotta do is delete your adjustment clips, go over to your deliver tab, and now you'll see, if you come over to your individual clips here, go ahead and hit add down here. Now you'll see it's going to render all 7 of these clips in 1 minute increments, all for your social media. Your long form now became significantly more useful, more valuable with short form. What I just showed you guys, oh my Lord, what I just showed you guys is absolutely sauce, okay? I don't know how much better can it get. This right here, when I figured out this workflow for getting short form content out and breaking up my bigger form content into this way, it changed the game for me. Okay, so this is, if you're ever given client work and they say, hey, can we take this and break it up in 1 minute increments, you know, as you can see, I was able to do that in probably about less than 5 minutes. All right, so that is powerful. With that knowledge, be careful with it. And I hope that you guys found that useful in some form or fashion. So that is going to wrap up social media content creation. I think that that was a meaty lesson, but very powerful one. And I think that you guys will really take that and can run with that. And I look forward to getting more into color grading stuff with you guys here in the next one. But I figured we would take a little field trip on social media because it's just that much useful and it was requested. Okay. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great night, a great week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.